Welcome Tankers of Blitz Universe. Update 3.6 is coming soon, and it will see a rebalancing question mark of tier 10 mediums. All of the mediums have something done to their pen numbers, and the 140 gets a redesigned turret armor as well, because it is very much present in a lot of tier 10 games. A lot of people use it. It's a very strong tank and maybe overused to an extent. And this is something that Wargaming thinks needs to be done to rebalance the game, make it more fun and give other tanks an opportunity as well. Because you could sit down at a position, hold down with a 140 and bounce shots all day long. That is no longer the case. Spoiler alert, everybody. We'll be driving all the tanks together. Me and fellow YouTube star and community contributor Skate Extreme will be driving all the tier 10 mediums against various opponents. Before we get into the game, taking a look at the new penetration numbers on update 3.6. Let's take a look at how they are at the moment in 3.5. Of course, we're using Blitz stars, tank compare again, E50, Leopard 1, STB, FV, they're all there. They all fire APCR as standard ammunition, as you can see. Best penetration on the Leopard 1 and the E50M, lowest on the STB. All of them except for the FV4202 fire heat in terms of premium ammunition, and they all get 330 penetration values, 210 on the hash on the FV. HE, nothing really to write home about except the FV again, which is a hash version on double penetration. If you look at the numbers on the T62A and the Object 140. But that said, penetration only 105. It's good against lightly armored targets, but well, you have to penetrate to do the full damage rolls. That's it in update 3.5. We will be looking at all the tanks individually and how they compare against an E100, an Object 268, and against a medium tank, the M48A1 pattern. And up first are the Object 140 versus the Type T62A. You can see it in the big screen, that's me, and 140 versus the T62A. And in the inside, the smaller screen, it's Skate Extreme trying to face off against the 140. You can see the 140 still fairly strong, same as the T62A. Penetration numbers obviously are the same because they have the same gun. And they have the lowest penetration values on APCR and heat in the tier now. Lowest as well on HE, but they get the highest rate of fire, thus meaning a fairly good DPM. And you can see if you keep firing APCR, you will see quite a bit of red on the turret, especially the T62A. Front plate, not so much unless you get it at an angle, and we're going to take a look at that in an instant. And you can see it here again. It's red if you get it at an angle, but you will have problems with the gun depression, which is typically Russian, obviously. 140 versus 140. Let's take a look at the turret armor as it is re-patterned, really. You can see a lot more grayish, greenish, and you can pan pretty much around everywhere. Hull plate, panable, obviously. Around the gun, very strong. Side of the turret, very strong. But on the left side and the right side of the gun, there will be weak spots on the Object 140. That part is not panable. You can see Skady's also trying to take a look at how the gun works on my turret. And at a distance, it's even harder to penetrate properly if you shoot through the lower plate. Sorry, mate. You'll cause any fires from time to time. But the turret, it is still strong, but not as strong as it is at the moment. So be careful with it if you're driving 140s. And those changes also beg the question, how does a 140 compare, for example, against a Grill, one of the better tier 10 tank destroyers? Very accurate gun, good penetration numbers, no armor. But a Grill, it will pen an Object 140 turret all day long. Skate was laughing his socks off as he was looking at me. He just could find spots everywhere. And literally everywhere. HE between the hatches, it will do massive damage, as you can see here. AP will go through, and we don't even mention heat on the grill. So yeah, it's a bit of a nerf bat. It's not even a nerf bat. It's a nerf hammer. It's a sledgehammer. The Optic 140 has been thoroughly weakened in that regard, and you can see it here. It will go straight through. The numbers in terms of armor are still the same on both the T62 featured here against the E100 and the 140. So there are still the same very strong parts on the tank, but there are a lot more weak spots. AP on the T62A, that might bounce a few more. Heat will go through. You can see Skates switching here the types of ammunition, but an E100 against the 140, you can see it here, easily penned, easily penned, easily penned. The weak spots are still there, no hedges on top, but you can't just sit in front of an E100 in a 140 and then just think you can slug it out. You can see it here. He is on the other side on Desert Sands, and it's red, red, red. Except for the lower plate, through the drive wheel you might penetrate, as you can see. And well, then you think, well, let's switch to heat, as you can do now, and pen E100s all day long. Yes, flat angles of the E100, they will go through. You will penetrate the hull cheeks of an E100 still with a 140, but it's not as easy as it used to be, and I think that is a good thing. In the meantime, we are taking a look at the Leopard 1. This one gets nerfed as well, 255, as you can see on the APCR, and here the numbers are there. Front of a 268, not easily panned. As it wiggles, it becomes pinkish and red and red. Weak spots on the front are there, but it's not as easy as it was. This is a very Tronish tank destroyer, obviously, but it's not something that you can do very easily. Here we are driving the what was it, 62 T62A versus the Jagdpanzer E100, and this you could see Skate wiggling around in the Jagdpanzer E100. It's also something that comes with this nerving sledgehammer. You won't be able to slug it out frontally, face to face, with a heavy, with a big tank destroyer. You will have to use the mobility, and I'll get to that later at the end of the video. Because mediums are not meant to do that really against heavies. You're not meant to slug it out frontally. Heavy should be able to push up to you to an extent and then take you out. And as it is now, it can be easy to sit in a tank in a 140 or T62A and have two tanks of them. Just load on heat and use a DPM and hold the line against several heavies and other tier 10 mediums. And in that regard, rebalancing is a good thing. In the meantime, we are taking a look at the pattern versus the E50M. We've seen the penetration numbers, that one gets nerfed too. And we will also take a look at the other side of the tank, the E50M versus the pattern. That's basically the same, a nerfed gun, as you can see here. And a lot of strong points on the pattern as well, but a lot of weak stuff too. So mediums, they will be rebalanced, and they will have a lot more fighting chances against each other. And after seeing the pattern and the E50M, that leaves us just two other tanks to compare, the STB1 versus the FV4202. And I think the STB and the FV are one of the lesser play tanks in tier 10 and mediums. They are getting a lot stronger, and I'm not in the sense of overpowered, but they have some very redeeming features. The FV obviously has a very accurate gun, same as the STB. They have slightly better heat penetration, 300 on average on 290 versus the Optic 140 and the Type T62A. But the SCB has a strong turret, and you can see even the turret of the FV has become a little bit stronger against APCR from other tier 10 mediums. The front plate is still strong, but Hash can penetrate. Hash from the FV can penetrate the hull of an STB, but the turret of the STB, you can see it here from the view of the FV40 Auto, it's pretty much stronger too. All the statistics are there, drawn from the test server. They will be live in a few days, and well, for now let's take a look at hear my thoughts more on what this will mean for tier 10. Before the news came out officially, it was already leaked via channels on Telegram, etc. And people were already complaining tank destroyers are becoming way too strong, heavy tanks are becoming way too strong because mediums will not be able to penetrate them. But that's not the role of a medium. You're there to spot, to drive around the flank and then maybe destroy some tanks. You are a versatile machine. You have the DPM and you can still penetrate tanks, and you don't need the heat. You can pen all the tier 10 heavies with APCR through the sides, but that means you have to flank and you have to think quickly. It's not just a matter of sitting there, swapping the premium ammunition and hammer away at a heavy tank. That's what this nerfing will do, in my opinion, to tier 10. It will force mediums more into their traditional roles and really make people more rely on skill instead of pure penetration power of heat. That's all for today. I'll see you all in update 3.6.